I'm going to show you how to sew a microwave bowl holder. At first you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric, 10 by 10, 2 pieces of batting, 10 by 10. Then you are going to take the wrong side of the fabric, no, I'm sorry, the right side of the fabric, and you are going to put one piece to your batting like this. And we're going to pin it so that it doesn't move on all 4 corners, and leaving enough space so that when you sew it, you don't hit the pin. And this is just to make sure that your fabric does not move on you. So don't have to worry where you put your pins. And then what I do beforehand is I fold the fabric in half and I press it. It makes it a lot easier. And for that purposes, we're going to sew a straight line from here to here to start to hold the fabric in place here. So as soon as we do that, we'll move on to the next step. So I'm going to sew that corner right now from down the middle. Move that pen, I got it a little too close. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to take these pins out, and we're going to fold this in half. And we want to make sure that the fabric lines up. It doesn't matter if the batting does, but we need to make sure that the fabric lines up. And we're going to pin that. See, the fabric is lining up. It doesn't matter about the batting. And then what I like to do, it's not necessary, is I have this little stick. I like to put it in here to make sure all my fabric is straight and not going to bunch up when we sew this side. So now we are going to mark this 1 inch across, 2 inches down, and we're going to connect the dots. So let me do that real quick. One inch across, 2 inches down, and I like using a little marker just to do it light enough to be able to see where we're going to sew. And always make sure this fold is always on your right or your bow won't turn out. So let's sew from here to here. And I like to back stitch. Some people don't do it, but I like back stitching when I start and when I end. That assures that our stitches are not going to come undone. Then we're going to cut the thread. We're going to cut that thread, and then we're going to trim. Don't trim on the line or you will cut your stitching open. So just enough to leave a little bit so when we put the bow together it's not real bulky. Okay, so now we're going to flip it up and we're going to do the same thing here. 1 inch across, 2 inches down, connect dot to dot, and then sew. So let me do that one real quick. Oh, drop my pen. A pin don't like to draw a line too good on this batting. That's why I use a marker. It seems to be a little bit easier. Okay, 1 inch across, 2 inches down. Connect the dots like that and sew. Now we're going to start our stitch, back stitch. Got my thread hung up there. back stitch go. Back stitch again on that corner so our stitching don't come out. Trim our threads. And then we're going to cut again from here to here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unpin this. We're going to open it up, and this is where our pleats are. That was the center one that we did, the first one, and these are our other two we did. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the bow, we're going to fold it again. Remember to make sure your fabric lines up. It doesn't matter about the batting, but the fabric does. I'm going to pin that together, and I like pinning all three spots to make sure my fabric is even. And there's the number 3. So now that we have that done, I like to run my little stick in here. It's not necessary, but I find sometimes if you don't, your fabric will bunch and it'll make your bow all thrown off. So what we're going to do again is 1 inch across, 2 inches down, and connect the dots. So let's do that. 1 inch, 2 inches, and down. And then we are going to sew this. Start our stitch, back stitch, just to lock that stitch so it don't go nowhere. When we get to the end, we're going to lock that stitch again. Now we're going to trim off the threads, if I could get it. And we're going to trim this spot right here, right there. And then now we're going to flip it, and we're going to do the same on this side. 1 inch across, 2 inches down, connect it, and makes like a triangle. So 1 inch across, 2 inches down, and connect. Oh, that came out a little, missed my thing there. 1 inch. Make that a little smaller. There we go. So it's 1 inch to 2 inches. Really hard to see. I don't have no chalk to make it show up. So I'm going to start it, back stitch to stitch, and then we are going to trim off all the threads. We're going to trim this spot. And then we're going to take the pins out. And this is the start of our bow. These are all the little pleats that we did. So now I want you to take the time, make the other one the same exact way, and then come back in a minute. Okay, so I have that done. I made mine up a little bit ahead of time because I don't know how much time I have on my camera. We're going to fold one like this, and the other one was already right side up. We're going to make sure the two right side fabrics are facing each other, and you are going to make sure that they line up, this corner with this corner and the pleats, and then we're going to pin all that. This is so that it doesn't move when we are doing the sewing. I like to pin a little bit lower so I don't got to keep pulling pins. Make sure that those pleats match up. Okay, let me get that in there. Line that up. And this one needs to come a little bit more down. Once you fix that like that. And you might have to take your hand and push in to bring the fabric down a little bit. So go around and finish pinning it. And we're going to leave an opening from here to here, but we are going to pin this side. This is going to be an opening, so make sure you don't sew over that, or you won't be able to turn it the right way. Keep pulling my pen out. Okay. Pull it down to get the fabric down where it goes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way around. We're going to sew, now that you can see it, all the way around, and we're going to leave an opening here. But we want to sew right past this so it doesn't come apart. So we will sew all the way around. So let's sew this and I'll be right back. We're starting right here on the corner. Making sure that our pleats are lined up. I like to put my needle in a down position so that it holds the fabric in place when I'm turning. Okay, so the purple pen is the one that I have to stop at. Okay, and then you're going to back stitch when you get to where you're going to leave it open so that it doesn't rip. I'm going to cut the threads. And you can nip off the corners here so that it's not so bulky. But be real careful that you don't go too close or you'll open up your stitches. Okay, now we're going to remove all the pins. You definitely don't want to leave no pins in it because then you microwave with it and you're going to start a fire. So now where the opening is, we're going to take this and we're going to reach across and go inside here and reach across and pull into this. So let's do that. And then we're going to pull this right side out. If you leave a big enough gap, it's pretty easy to do. And then I like to take my stick and I like to push it in here to get my corners out so my bow looks really good. Not to push too hard that you rip the fabric though. Okay, so now this is our bow. Let's turn it all inside and take out my fingers and push where the holes are to bring the fabric down from the inside. And now that you have this little opening here, we're gonna take this and fold it in, and I like to press it so it comes out even. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew around the whole outside of the bow. So let's do that. And then we will have our bow completed. It's a very simple project. And then when you get to the end, make sure you back stitch so your stitching does not come apart. And you should make sure that you're using 100% cotton fabric, 100% cotton batting, and 100% cotton thread, or you might have a little fire in your microwave. And now this is our bow. And let's see, get it stretched up here. And there's your bow for your bowl holder, and it works beautiful in your microwave. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, push like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have a happy holiday. Thank you.